Tonight I'm going to tell you a story about growing up on one of the last uh, turkey farms in St. Lawrence County. When I was a kid, my father used to raise 1,000 turkeys each year, free range, which means they were in a meadow of about 20 acres. We got them as chicks, and the second floor of our garage had two giant gas brooders that would fit 250 turkey poults in. And when they arrived, all of us kids had to go with my father, and every turkey poult got its beak dipped in the water where there were marbles and dipped in the feed to make sure they knew to eat the feed instead of the litter. And so the second floor of our garage became this mass of turkeys, and we kept them there till they were 6 weeks old. They had a porch to go out on, and then we loaded them all into our old Army surplus World War II Dodge truck, and we took them out to this field, and there'd be 500 to 1,000 of them there because we raised them in groups for the different holidays. And every night they had to be herded into an enclosure of about 1 acre with fence around it and then electric fence to keep the foxes out. And it was my job as like a 6-year-old to go out there and climb the trees and shake the turkeys down that went to roost in the trees before they went in. And then we had a collie dog that would herd them all up into the enclosure. And my father literally slept in a tent beside the turkeys when the foxes got bad with his gun and a flashlight to protect those turkeys. Anyway, I grew up in a family of turkey raisers. I'm not sure how many of you know that the Hewelton Turkey Market was the largest fresh turkey market in the world in the 1920s. And it was women who grew turkeys for their pin money originally before antibiotics when it became a bigger deal. Anyway, my grandmother used to tell turkey stories, and my father used to tell turkey stories, and I have a couple to share with you. The first is the turkeys that wouldn't go to bed, and my grandmother told this story all the time about how one year she had this group of turkeys, and they just would not go to roost at night, and if they didn't fly up into the roosting structure, then the foxes were going to get them. So she started going out there every night at dusk and picking one up and putting it on the roost. And then all the rest of them would follow suit and get on. But that entire year, they would not go to roost until she went out there at night and put the first one to bed. And then all the rest would follow, and they were safe. Anyway, that was my grandmother's favorite turkey story. And the second story is my father's favorite turkey story, and it's about how the turkeys got religion. Now, we went to church about 2 miles away at the North Governor Methodist Church, and so we drive there every Sunday morning for a 9:30 service. One day, we went to church, and on the way home, my father said, "Oh, look, AK's turkeys are out, and they're over at the Tylers." We got home, and my father went to check on our turkeys, and he discovered that 75 tom turkeys, only toms, had left the flock while we were at church and followed us down the road halfway to church. So we spent the whole afternoon, the whole family with our dog, herding these stupid tom turkeys home again because they decided they were going to get religion, my father said, because they heard Thanksgiving was coming. Anyway, and then my last story is just a short one, is the Great Turkey Heist. Now, my father raised turkeys for years, and originally it was really profitable. I mean, we drove the turkey mobile. We had a 1948 Nash station wagon. You could fold the back seats down, and you could put tons of frozen turkeys in there, deliver them to the Edwards Hotel or the Triple S Market in Governor, where they give me animal cookies if I went along for the ride. So that was a big deal. Anyway, my father paid for that car totally from the profits of raising turkeys in 1948 when he got $1.50 a pound for his turkeys. And he always bragged about that. They paid for a brand new car just with the money he made from turkeys. And the last thing, and this is the closing chapter of our turkey farm, is the Great Turkey Heist. Now, for years, we butchered turkeys in our garage, and we hired all the neighbors, and they plucked feathers and dressed the turkeys, and we had a big freezer in the corner of the garage, a giant one. As a little kid, I thought everybody must have a big walk-in freezer in their garage, but we were sort of special that way. Anyway, On one day, it was just before Christmas, my father went to the barn to milk the cows, and as he came out, he noticed the window was missing from our garage. You know, the garage was locked because all the turkeys were in there in the freezer. And he went to look, and someone had taken the window out and gone into the freezer and stolen 50 turkeys. And these are big turkeys, 30-pound, fully dressed turkeys, and carried them. And he had us help, and we followed. There was a trail of giblets, hearts, and gizzards, and necks, a half a mile down the road to where they pulled off. And we thought we were great. I mean, I listened to Perry Mason on TV. I thought, oh, we've got this solved. So we called the police. The police came, and they just looked at us and said, how in the world are we going to find your 50 turkeys? They're going to look like everybody else's turkeys. And sadly, that was the last year we raised turkeys because the profit had really gone out of it. And when you lose 50 finished turkeys out of 500, that's a big thing. And so that was the end of our turkey farm, was the big turkey heist. Anyway, thank you.